Hey everybody! I got a brand new printable album, mini album kit on the site. It's called the Primrose mini album. Primrose just means the yellow rose, and even though there's not a lot of yellow roses in this book, I just really liked the name, so that's why I called it that. And I'm going to show you the kit contents really quick, and then I'm going to show you how I put my book together. I'm actually going to be doing the Coptic stitch on my pages, and there's a different link on the start of the Coptic stitch, and that link is right down there or there in the description, depending on how I upload this video. So here's what the covers look like. Looks like an old book. So you can see I already put mine on chipboard, and I distressed the chipboard a whole bunch. It's got a really crude edge, and then I did this for the inside liners, just something really grungy. So there's what the covers look like, and I'm going to show you the ephemera that comes in the kit. They're all made to print out double-sided, so you'll see that they print out right next to each other, and then you just fold them in half and glue it together to make your cards double-sided, just like I've shown you guys before. This one's not a double-sided one. And there's some fun pockets with tags in there that match the kit. There's this little envelope. This would go into a pocket because you wouldn't want to glue down that pretty pattern on the other side. And it has an insert as well that looks like that. And then you get this cute little envelope. It's all pre-distressed and everything. And you'll see it's got a little card inside. And then you get jumbo tickets, journaling tickets with flowers on them. Now these are really cool because you cut them out, and then you can fold them in half, and then you cut all the little details out, and then you glue them together, and then you have a double-sided ticket. So those are even made to be double-sided. Now, for the pages, these are what the main pages look like, and there's a trick to this book. So you'll see that this one goes a little bit into this page, so it's not like a perfect, you just fold them in half. So you're not going to fold along this border or anything like that. You're just going to fold it in half, and I just liked the way the layout was, so that's why I did them that way. So there's that one that you just saw, this one, this one, this one. They all have cute little names like Delilah and Karma and stuff like that, and Lola. And then something really cool about this kit is it comes with something called filler pages and journal pages. Oh, it comes with spine too, but I'm not using the spine in this tutorial. So there's a spine in case you want to put a spine on the book. I thought I had a printout of it here. So there's two other pages that come in the kit, and one's called a filler page, one's called a journal page. So I'm going to show you those, and those are meant for printing on the back side of your journal pages, so you can make these double-sided without gluing paper together. So if you look on the back, this one is called the filler page. It's a really pretty rose pattern. It's really distressed. It's got journal lines. And then the other one is the journal page, and that's how it prints out. It's distressed journal lines. And those both print out quite a bit bigger than these do, because when you flip your paper over and you go to print on the back side, sometimes your printer will print it off, or it just depends on how your printer pulls in the paper each time. So I made them bigger so that you definitely cover that perimeter of the regular page. So if you look on all the backs, I printed the filler page and the journal page on all the backs of my papers so I could have double-sided papers. So really super easy concept. And now I'm going to do the Coptic stitch on all my inside pages, these pages here, and I'm going to print out some extra of the filler pages and the journal pages, and I'm going to print those out double-sided to make my book even thicker, and then I'm going to do the Coptic stitch, and I'm probably going to do 2 pages per signature, so 2 of these per signature. And the instructions on how to do a Coptic stitch are in my video in the description below. And that's just the start of the guts, and then I'm going to show you in this video how to put the covers on. So I'm going to pre-do the Coptic stitch, and then I'm going to show you how to put the covers on. So I'll be back with a nice finished inside piece of my book. Alright, so I've got my guts all done, and I'll show you. These are the guts of my book, so you can kind of see. And there's that stitching, and all I did off camera was I punched holes in my cover really close to the edge, and I just lined up those holes with my stitching on my book, so you can kind of see there. And I also put some eyelets and grommets. I always put grommets on the back of my eyelets, which together it's just a grommet. Because anytime you're going to thread some string or anything like that through an eyelet, you want to make sure you add a grommet because that's going to smooth it out so it doesn't sort of like chafe at your string and cause it to fray. So that's why I did that. And then this next step is your string ends at the back here. So what you're going to do is you're going to go back into your signature here, just like this, your needle. Open it up and you're on the inside now. You can get it all the way, oh, I got my tail in there. So I'm assuming you guys have watched the video on this. And then you're going to go under this little loop of string there, and then you're going to go right back out that hole. This is just to thicken up that end piece and give yourself a little more support there. Alright, so you went right back out that hole, and then now this is, you're going to go through that bottom hole on your cover with your needle like this. Okay, and I'm actually going to do this a few times because I want the string to go around my cover a few times so it looks thicker. So I'm going to go right underneath here again, just like this. Pull my string out like that, and I'm going to go right back through that hole again. So I've got a double loop on my hole there, and that just gives it a nice thicker attachment. And then now you're just going to go along this stitching and kind of loop in and out of it. Oh, actually, no, I'm sorry. I'm doing a different kind of binding technique this time. So you're going to go right back underneath this stitch again, like this. Pull tight. And then you're going to go in through that hole again on your cover from the inside, just like this. And then now you're going to skip over onto this side here, and you're going to do that same thing you did on that first hole. And I'm kind of running out of string, but it's okay if you run out because you can always add more. So I skipped over to the second hole there. You can see there, see my string. And then you're going to go right under that stitch again, just like we did before. And it might help to actually open up your book between those two signatures there, like this. So stick your needle in there, and this just makes it easier to get through. Get my string through there. Come on now. Alright, so then I'm going to stick my needle right back through. And that'll make it so that I'm going underneath that stitch. And then you're going to go in through your hole again. And then you're going to go over the outside, and you're going to go underneath that stitch again. So open up that book again. We're going to do this twice, just like we did the bottom. So see my needle come out. Pull this nice and tight. Close up my book. So you want to pull tight, and then you're going to go right back into the cover hole again, because we're doing that double loop there to make it look nice and thick. And then you're going to go right back under that stitch again. So we're going to open up our book again. And you can just keep your hand between those signatures and leave it open the whole time that you're doing this. I'm going to pull tight one more time, because I like my binding to be nice and tight. So my string's a little caught here. Hang on a sec. There we go. Going above the stitch, and then right back through that little hole in the cover. It's going to be tight right about here, but that's what you want, because you want your cover to be nice and tight onto your book. So come right back out that hole, and then you're going to skip over to the next hole. Do the same thing. So it gives you kind of a really neat little effect. You can see the string on the cover. I really love, love, love that look. So I'm going to stick my hand in between those signatures again so I can go underneath the stitch and above the stitch here to loop around. Then we're going to go right out that hole again. Or this is the first time for this one. And then you're going to go underneath your stitch again, and then above your stitch, pull real tight, and then go right back out that hole again. And then you're going to go underneath the stitch, over the stitch, and then right back out that hole. And then you're going to skip over to the next hole right here. And same thing, you're going to go under the stitch, and over, and out the hole, and then over and under the stitch, and then right back out that hole, and then under the stitch one more time, and that's going to give you that double outside. Now this time you're not going to go back out through that hole because you've already done your double stitch on that part of the cover. So now I'm running out of string here, so what I have to do is I'm going to have to tie this off somewhere, but before I do that I have enough to go to the front. So now the trick is you want to do all one string, so we're going to pretend like you have a mean old long string, and you're just going to simply weave your needle through in between these signatures and get your thread over to the front of your book. So see, I'm just wrapping my thread around my existing stitching, and I'm going over to the front of my book. And you're also going to end up doing this at the end too to make this stitch match that top one, and then all your stitches will look nice and thick, because normally these two middle ones are going to be thicker than your outside ones, but once you do this they all look nearly the same. So once you get to the last signature, you're going to stick your thread through that hole to go inside the signature, open up your book just like this, and this is how we're going to add thread to our needle as well. So we're going to snip this thread. I'm going to take one of those tail ends and I'm going to loop it underneath this string here. So see, I'm looping it under there. And then I'm going to tie these two into a knot, a double knot. Okay, and then I'm going to snip those short. And all I'll do later is I'll put a little glue dot there, and once the glue has dried, I'll snip this down as to however small I want it to be. I'm going to do the same thing with my starting tail here. I'm going to snip that down, put a little glue dot there later. A little drop of glue, I mean. I'm just going to tighten that. So now we need to add string. So I'm going to get a bunch of string here. I really don't need that many. I would say about half a yard, which would be a yard cut in half here. And so I'm going to cut my string there. I'm going to rethread my needle. I'm not going to be tying any knots this time because I really don't need to. Got a nice large eye on this needle because I'm using a really big needle. This is shorter than the needle that I used on the 31-day journal. So, oh, I'm sorry, I am tying one knot here. So what you're going to do is you're going to stick this underneath, one tail underneath that loop there, and then you're just going to tie this into a knot. Nice, tight little knot there. Don't want that coming undone. Okay, so now you've got something like this, and I'm going to just make sure that knot is in the seam of the book there, and then I'm just going to tie one more knot, knotting these two strings together. Pull my needle through it, and this is just going to keep that last knot from moving around too much. Okay, so now, and once you glue these and you cut off those ends, you can even melt them. These knots are not going to be noticeable at all, really. So now you're going to go right back out that top hole that you came in from, just like this. And then you're going to take your front cover, where'd it go? And you're going to do the same exact thing we did on the back. So I'm going to put my needle through this hole on my cover, pull my thread tight. We're going to do the same exact thing we did before. I'm going to go under these two signatures here and over. Just pull that a little tight there. I'm going to go back out my hole on the cover again. And we're going to go under the stitch again and over. And then back out again through that same hole. So just make sure that you keep pulling your strings tight, because you want your binding to be nice and clean looking and tight, so this thing doesn't fall apart. And now we're going to go right back out that hole. If I could just find it here. There we go. Alright, so right back out that hole. We're going to skip over to the second hole now and do the same thing. And this is where I'm going to need to open up my book here in between those two signatures, so I can get my needle in there. Pulling tight, going out the hole in the cover. Pulling tight, going under the stitch and over it. And this is my first round here. And then I'm going to go out the cover hole again, second time out, and underneath the stitch again, and over, and out that hole, and pulling tight. And then this is where I'm going to skip over, because I've got two loops on there now. So I'm skipping over to this third hole here. Do the same thing, going in between the signatures, underneath the stitch, and over the stitch. Oops, come out there. My strings are getting caught on the cover corner there. Pull that string nice and tight. Go out the hole. And then in between the covers. This is my first round of going through the hole. And then this is my second round going through the hole. And then one more time. And as far as I know, I just made up this technique for attaching the cover. There's lots of different ways to do it. But, you know, I wouldn't doubt it if someone's done it this way before. But as far as I know, I just kind of came up with it on my own. Alright, and I've gone over that through this hole twice now, so now I'm going to skip over to my last hole. Just like this. And go under the stitch. This one's easy because it's right at the edge. My string's caught on the corner again. Pull my string nice and tight. Go in through the hole, or out through the hole. And then my last round here, going under the stitch. And then out of the hole again. So if you want to use some really pretty colored thread, you can, so it'll show more. But I've noticed that this nylon thread has a lot of shine to it, so it looks really good no matter what you do. So now you're going to do what we did. Oh wait, I've got to go one more time. Sorry, I thought that was my second time through the hole, but apparently it's not. And then last time through that hole. Okay, so now you're going to go over again, and you're just going to do the same thing that we did when we were moving up from the back of the book on this stitch. So you're just going to go under the first stitch there, and then you're going to go through the second one. You're just threading through the stitching on the spine. You're going in between each little signature to do this. And this is just thickening up that stitch so it matches all the other stitches. Oops, got caught there again. So really easy. There's no wrong way to trace through this stitch. You can do it any way you like. This is just how I'm doing it. You could even just take your needle and just go through it like that. However you like, whatever works for you. So now I'm in between the last two signatures. I'm going to pull my two strings, my string that's folded in half, pull both ends to make sure it's nice and tight. And then I'm going to go in through that first or that last signature in that first hole. So open my book up, and then there's my needle. Okay, and then I'm going to cut it right about there. I'm going to open up my strings. I'm going to weave one or loop one underneath that little loop there, and then we're going to tie it into a knot. Nice tight knot. And then I'll probably do 3 knots on this one because it's kind of just a better idea. And then you're just going to snip this off real short, put a little bit of dotted glue, and then you can snip the rest of it off. And then there is your book with the cover. So what I like to do is I take it after I'm done attaching the cover and I just kind of move it around, break it in a little bit. But there's your cool binding on how to add the covers. Now, the way I'm going to add the covers on the April journal is going to be a little bit different. We're going to do a different technique. I just really like this one, and I wanted to show you guys that there's lots of different ways you can attach your covers with a Coptic stitch. So when you open your book up, it will lie nice and flat so you can do your artwork on there. And that's the great thing about the Coptic stitch is the book will open up really flat, so you can really do your artwork. So I'm just going to flip through the pages. This is what the inside looks like. See, the covers on there really tight. I added 2 papers. I did Manila and Craft, and I'm not done glimmer misting all of it yet, but I started a little bit just so the outside would look good. And so when you open it up, you've got all these little pages. And I even did some undersized pages in there, which is easy. You just put them where you want them. So pretty fun, super easy little book, lots of things you can do. And I'm going to go ahead and add all of this awesome ephemera, and I'll show you the finished thing. And one thing I forgot to mention was that all these pages will fit into your journey book and vice versa. So your journey book could fit into this book too. So you can mix match all your pages and make a super thick book with just all patterns if you wanted to. So stay tuned and I'll show you my finished book. Alright, so here it is. I haven't finished it as usual because I'm running out of time. It's getting kind of late. It's like 8 o'clock here, so the kids have to go to bed. But here's my book. Here's what I did to the cover. I just put a little book plate on there, and I wrote journal in there, and I put a little Maya Road, little bling brad thingy. I think it's Maya Road. And so when you open it up, I've got a little clock hand there, and there's that envelope with the cute little double-sided card on the inside. Put some cute photos in there too if you want. I know you can't see it on the video, but this envelope's actually really distressed looking. It's like a white. That's real old looking. It's pretty cool. And then I left pretty much all the, I haven't glued it yet and cut those off yet, but I haven't done anything to the patterns yet because I want to put photos in there or whatever first, so that's why those are plain. I just added some little envelopes and tags, little things I had laying around, filigrees. Here is some vintage trinkets. These are the flowers. I know they don't look like them because I actually took a hammer to these and flattened them completely. And I have to say, super, super cool. So if you like to do chunky books and you want to use the vintage trinkets, but they're a little too bulky, you can hammer them down and make them totally flat. And I'll do a tutorial on that later. But I love how it turned out. I just put some clock hands on the flower itself to add a little bit of interest to it. And then here's, I put the paper's still wet from distressing. I put this little pocket on that little small cutout there. Pretty fun. And I love doing this. You'll see how there's like a clean square from when I missed it on there? I love doing that in my books. I think it adds character, and I'll show you. There's another pocket where I did that. That's kind of cool. Here's a little hand that holds that little card in. That one's double-sided. It has journaling on the back too. So kind of cool. I'll show you another example. The pages are still kind of wet. They look a little streaky too, but once it dries, it'll look a lot better. This is just a little piece I had left over from something. Here's another envelope with a card inside. So you can see it there. Pretty neat. I love having lots of pockets and lots of envelopes and little things to open and play with. And there's another trinket I hammered down. I'm looking for this one pocket. Not sure where it went. Some little scrap pieces I put in there. That's kind of fun. Some more little clock hands. I'll put a photo on there later and distress it. And I never pre-distress my pages before I put photos in the book. Usually I'll scrap as I go along, and I'll distress the page as I complete the page one at a time. But in this one I kind of did a little bit. I'm looking for, oh, this pocket. Silly me, I already showed it. So see, it kind of, from where I distressed it, I left a bare spot because I distressed it over the cards. I don't know, I kind of just like that look. It makes it look a little bit more aged. You see a little bit of light showing through, so kind of fun. But yeah, there's the book. I hope you guys like it, and this is the Primrose mini album printable kit on my website, marionsmithdesigns.com. And I'm sure I'll be doing a lot more with this book, and I'll post updates or add-ons. And like I said earlier, this book fits perfectly into the journey book kit that's become really popular on my site as well. So you can interchange the pages and use these pages in the journey kit as well. And it'll fit perfectly, or vice versa, whatever you like. And let's see this last page. This is my favorite one, I think. I think I just like the blue and pink together, and the ledger in the background. So, and then in the back I just put a little Tim Holtz clip on there, and you can clip your photos or notes in the back, or even make a little tiny notepad and clip it onto the back like a clipboard. So that's a cool little effect. And that's the book. Hope you guys like it. I can't wait to see what you guys do with it. And stay tuned for my next video, which is going to be on the finishing up of the April journal, because I have a huge, awesome little giveaway for you guys. Someone's going to win a color laser printer. It's the exact printer that I have. I totally love it. It's what I use to print all my pages, and it lasts a really long time. It's color laser, high quality. It's worth over $300, and we're going to be giving one of those away to a very lucky person who does a video on their journals they did using the printable templates. So we'll have a little contest going, and I'll announce all that information later for you guys. And hopefully a bunch of you will win, because we'll be doing it all year long. So we'll probably be giving a few printers away this year, just for fun, and get your guys' creative juices going, so I could see what you guys have done with your templates, since hardly anyone has showed me what they've done with them yet, so I'm kind of curious. Anyway, now I'm just jabbering, so I will see you at the next video, which is going to be the finishing of the April 31-day journal. Thanks, guys!